Hello, and welcome to Accreditation Unlocked, the podcast where we simplify accreditation, amplify best practices, and empower institutions to shine during every phase of the review process. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Clow, and today we're exploring one of the most effective and often overlooked tools in preparing for an accreditation site visit, mock interviews. Whether you're a self-study coordinator, a program chair, a dean, or a frontline staff member preparing to meet with peer reviewers, this episode will give you a clear understanding of what mock interviews are, why they matter, and how they can make or break your institution's performance during this visit. So let's dive in. What are mock interviews? At its core, a mock interview is a simulated site visit interview, a rehearsal for the real thing. But it's more than just practice. It's a structured, intentional process designed to test readiness, clarify responses, and improve performance. During a mock interview, someone, usually an experienced consultant or accreditation expert, poses the same types of questions that a visiting team might ask. These could include, how does your program assess student learning outcomes? Can you walk us through your strategic planning process? What evidence do you have that institutional effectiveness processes are working? How are you using data to drive continuous improvement? Mock interviews are typically conducted in a format similar to the actual site visit. That means sessions with senior leadership, department heads, faculty, staff, students, and sometimes even trustees or advisory board members. The goal is to simulate the tone, pace, and pressure of a real site visit so that when the real questions come, your team is calm, clear, and confident in their responses. Why are mock interviews so important? Let's talk about the why. Mock interviews are important because they take the mystery out of the process. Accreditation visits are high-stake events. They bring scrutiny to every corner of your institution, and that pressure can be daunting. For those who've never been through a visit, mock interviews are a crash course in what to expect. They help people understand the structure of the visit, the types of questions they face, and how their role fits into the bigger picture. Without preparation, it's easy to freeze up, get defensive, or provide incomplete responses. Even for those who've been through site visits before, a lot can change between cycles. Standards evolve, terminology changes. What was acceptable 5 or 10 years ago may not meet expectations today. Mock interviews help experienced personnel refresh their approach, realign with updated standards, and avoid outdated answers. They're also incredibly useful for surfacing issues before the site team arrives. For example, a department chair may realize they're unsure about how assessment data is shared institution-wide. Or a faculty member may be unclear how curriculum changes are approved. Or a staff member might give conflicting answers about student support services or record-keeping processes. These inconsistencies can raise red flags during a visit, but mock interviews identify them in time to make corrections. Why bring in an outsider? Now you may be wondering, why can't we just run these interviews ourselves? It's a fair question. Internal role-playing can be helpful, but it often falls short of providing the realism and critical feedback needed to fully prepare a team. Here's why bringing in someone from outside the institution makes all the difference. First, an external expert brings objectivity. They don't have personal relationships or internal biases. They are not afraid to ask the uncomfortable questions or push back when answers are vague or off target. Second, they bring experience. A qualified accreditation consultant has sat through dozens, sometimes hundreds of site visits. They know how visiting teams think. They know the most commonly asked questions and the most common pitfalls. And third, they provide immediate, candid feedback. Internal mock interviews often end with polite nods and good job affirmations. An external reviewer, on the other hand, will tell you if your answer was off base, overly vague, or missing key evidence, and then offer coaching on how to improve. That's not criticism, that's growth. And that's exactly what you need to face an accreditation team with confidence. Making mock interviews part of ongoing assessment and improvement. Here's something that often gets overlooked. Mock interviews aren't just for accreditation prep. They're also a valuable tool in ongoing assessment and continuous improvement. Think about it. The same reflective, evidence-based conversations that take place during mock interviews are essential to a healthy institutional culture. Why wait for a looming site visit to start asking tough questions about student learning, operational effectiveness, or mission alignment? By integrating mock interviews into your annual assessment cycle or strategic planning timeline, you keep everyone sharp and focused. You build a team that's always prepared to speak clearly and confidently about what they do, why it matters, and how they know it's working. Here are a few practical ways to make mock interviews a regular part of your improvement process. Include them as part of your annual program reviews or assessment retreats. Use them during leadership onboarding to orient new deans, directors, or department chairs. Conduct abbreviated sessions at committee meetings. For example, asking institutional research, student support, or curriculum teams to respond to a simulated site visit question. Use mock interviews as diagnostic tools before launching new initiatives or submitting major reports. The more you practice, the more confident and consistent your institutional voice becomes, and that translates directly into accreditation success. How the Accreditation Collaborative can help. At the Accreditation Collaborative, we specialize in helping institutions navigate accreditation with clarity and confidence, and mock interviews are one of the most powerful tools we have in our toolbox. We've compiled a deep database of questions from institutional and programmatic accreditors commonly asked by site reviewers. We've got the questions and the experience to guide your team. When you partner with us for mock interviews, here's what you can expect. A customized approach based on your accrediting body, standards, and self-study content. A realistic simulation of interview sessions for various stakeholder groups. On-the-spot coaching and post-interview feedback highlighting strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. Follow-up support to help you refine answers, align documentation, and close readiness gaps. Whether you're new to accreditation or deep in the process, we'll meet you where you are and help you move forward with purpose. Some final thoughts. Let's be honest, the accreditation process can feel overwhelming, but with the right preparation, it doesn't have to be. Mock interviews give you the opportunity to practice, refine, and grow. They build institutional confidence and ensure your team speaks with a unified, informed voice. Most importantly, they help prevent surprises during the actual visit. If your institution is gearing up for a site visit, now is the time to invest in this essential step. Visit accreditationcollaborative.com to learn more about our services and other ways we can support your accreditation journey. That's it for today's episode of Accreditation Unlocked. Be sure to follow us and share this episode with colleagues who are preparing for accreditation or who just need a reminder that great preparation leads to great results. Until next time, I'm Dr. Ken Clow, and this has been Accreditation Unlocked, because success is built on preparation.